Hey guys, and welcome to Cars 3 in Hindsight. So obviously this is another entry in the Cars franchise from Pixar, the much maligned Cars franchise, which I personally think it gets more hate than it kind of deserves. I think Cars 1 is sort of a fun film that is nice and it's got a good message. It doesn't have the most depth, but I think it's a solid, well-made film. Cars 2 kind of deservedly, I think, gets a fair bit of flack. It's sort of fun, but they really took the focus off of Lightning McQueen and off of racing and really made it this random kind of spy movie that just didn't really work. And so now we have the third entry in Cars 3, and, you know, I think it falls somewhere in between those two. We return to Lightning McQueen as the main character. He's the driving force of this film, which I think is positive. I really like this character. And this is him kind of entering his middle age. He's been around for a while. He's been racing for a while. He's been winning for a while. And now these younger sort of upstarts are starting to come into the league. These rookies are starting to push him, namely Jackson Storm, voiced by Armie Hammer. This ultimately leads Lightning McQueen to get into a car wreck, trying to keep up in a race. And then it's sort of the question of, will he retire? Will he return? Like, he goes into a sort of different sort of training regimen, and this falls into a lot of sort of tropes of other sports movies. I think there's a lot of various Rocky films in this movie, especially some of the training montages, just sort of the story of a champion being dethroned, coming back with a different style. There's a lot of sports movie tropes in this. So in terms of the things that work in this film, I think one, like I kind of said already, Owen Wilson is solid in this. I've always liked him as this character, and I think refocusing the story on him and not on Mater like the second one did, which I think was a huge mistake. So I think it is a positive that they've refocused on Lightning McQueen here. He does a good job. He carries this film. He's really solid in this. It looks gorgeous. I mean, Pixar knows how to make a film. Their films all look really good, and this one's no exception. I mean, it's great. The racing scenes are often pretty intense, and, you know, they kind of get you on the edge of your seat a little bit, and they just, like, they look beautiful. The settings, it's out in the country a lot, and all of that comes across really well. It's very colorful. It looks really nice. They really know how to do that well. Another new character in this is Cruz Ramirez, voiced by Cristela Alonzo, and I think she does a nice job as well. I think they try to make this character a little bit too much of the focus, and I think that's a mistake to pull it off of Lightning McQueen, but she does a good job. I like all of her voice acting. I think the character is kind of interesting. Also, we have Nathan Fillion entering this film, playing Mr. Sterling, who's the owner of the company that Lightning drives for. I think he also does a nice job. I kind of like Nathan Fillion in basically anything. So in terms of the negatives, I would say for this film, though, there are a number. One, it basically retreads a lot of the things that have happened in the first Cars film, and like I said, in other sports movies. Like, there's basically nothing new in this film that you haven't seen before. You've kind of been there, done that with just about everything here, which I think is a bit of a drawback because you kind of see most of the stuff coming. You kind of anticipate what's going to happen before it actually does, which I think is always a bit of a negative. You want to see something new and sort of interesting, and this doesn't break any new ground. Also, like I said, I think Cruz Ramirez is an interesting character, but they do try to do too much with her here. I think Lightning McQueen is the main character of this film. He should be the main character of this film, and they try to put too much emphasis on her, and I don't think it always works. The actress does a nice job voicing her, but they wanted an emotional payoff with that character in this film, and I don't think they did enough to earn it or did enough to kind of get there with it. Also, Armie Hammer as Jackson Storm. He does a fine job, but there's really no menace in him as a villain. I never really bought him as an intimidating kind of presence in this film, and I think he's sort of one note. I never really found him to be particularly interesting or menacing or anything like that. He's sort of the foil for Lightning, and that's fine, but I never really felt anything from him. And also, Nathan Fillion as Mr. Sterling. They kind of suggest in the trailers that, you know, he's kind of gonna take Lightning away from racing, and he wants to do that, and they sort of set him up as a bit of a villain, but he's sort of a non-factor in this film, I would say, which I think is too bad when you have an actor like Nathan Fillion, who I think is so good and I like in so many things. They just didn't really give him a lot to work with which I think is sort of just unfortunate. It's just too bad. I think they could have done a lot more and made that character more interesting, but they just didn't really do that. Other characters did return from the first film, though, which I think is nice. It's nice to see Lightning's interaction with Sally. Mater, sort of in small doses, is also a pretty nice character. I think people can find him a bit irritating, and making him the focus in Cars 2 was definitely a mistake, but he's here in small doses again, and it's fun to see their sort of interaction and to see that sort of friendship. Yeah, so ultimately this is sort of a mixed bag for this film. I enjoyed parts of it. I think too much of it has sort of already been done before and isn't really anything new. I think some of the new characters are interesting, but you know, they don't, again, bring anything. They don't really offer all that much. So unfortunately, I was really hoping for a really solid third entry into the Cars franchise, and you know, it's better than the second one, but they really do seem to make these movies more for merchandising, more for toys than for anything else, which has been a big criticism of them, and seems like it is sort of the case. But the more money they make, the more Cars films we'll get, and you know, I just hope that they also can kind of make a quality film along with that. So ultimately, I'm going to give Cars 3 a 6 out of 10. I think there is some stuff to like here. I think there is things you can enjoy. I think definitely kids will like this. Unfortunately, it just doesn't hit that mark of some great Pixar films that are great for kids, but also appeal really to an older audience as well, and has a lot of deeper messages. There's really no depth to be had here, but it is sort of a fun sports movie, and I think on that line you can have a good time with it. You can enjoy some of the tropes of it. If you get into some of these characters like I have, like Lightning, I think you'll maybe enjoy this. So that's been my review of Cars 3. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and you know, comment below. What did you think of it? What do you think of the Cars franchise in general? So thanks for checking us out.